Call this meeting to order of the Town of Pelletier Board of Commissioners. It's Monday, September the 9th, 2024. Roll call.
Walter Vincent.
Here.
Dan Taylor.
Here.
Dale Sowers.
Here.
Sonny Mason.
Here.
David Bragg.
Here.
Tim Quinn.
Here.
All right, let's all stand for the pledge and invocation, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
House.
Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we thank you for the beautiful day that you've given us. We thank you for each and every one that carries what happens in Pelletier. And we ask, oh God, lead, guide, and direct each of us. Help us to do that which is pleasing unto you and helpful for this town. All this we ask in your precious, loving name.
Amen. I did not get a chance to go home and have a shower, so I apologize.
You're fine, brother.
I did change shirts and boots.
All right, approval of the agenda. Everybody has the agenda in front of them. If there's no changes, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, approval of the minutes of the August 5th, 2024 meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to read through it. If there's no changes to those minutes, do I hear a motion to approve as is?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, departments report. Code Enforcement Officer, Lieutenant Chris Jensen.
Good evening, Ellen. How are you this evening? All right, just getting right into it. August, the end of August, we're ushering in the new school year. Your local elementary school on the corner there has been taken over by the sheriff's office as far as the SRO situation goes. I think that was brought up in the last meeting. So we're out there directing traffic, and that's the division I head up to the sheriff's office. So we have our division out there. We don't do schools, but we're in charge. It's confusing, but we're out there doing the traffic every morning. And bear with us, we're still learning the ropes on that one. I've only gotten 4 complaints so far, so I'm not doing too bad. But it's going to be a learning curve for everybody involved.
I'm there every morning, and I think you're doing a stellar job. And the sheriff's department really makes, Cape Cartwright's decision look poor, because you're doing a much better job. The children are a lot safer. You've only gotten 4 complaints. It's not enough.
Yeah.
I applaud the sheriff's department's effort and the way they came out in full force to start off. Was really nice.
The first morning we even had my boss come down there, and the elected boss, and he assessed the situation and went and talked with the chief of police down there, and I guess they kind of handed over the torch to each other, and now it's all ours. Yeah. They agreed to help out for the first couple of weeks with the afternoon traffic, and then after that we're running around. So
first day we saw his butt.
Yeah.
So I applaud the sheriff's department.
And then the next day, that head shed went down, and then my little head shed went down. And then we had about 4 or 5 of us standing around that morning, assessing what we're gonna do with the traffic situation. Anyway, so that's Cape Cartwright, but it does affect you guys in a certain sense, because your children would go to school at that location. That's why I bring it up. Let's see here, what do I have? That was the sheriff's office stuff. Code enforcement, it's basically I'm touching on the same old cases I've been touching on for the past couple months. The Biden bus came into play once again. They brought that out to the road. I got into a discussion with a man there at the at the location, and he wanted to argue First Amendment rights and this and that, and calling in a federal attorney, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Your bus is illegal. Get off the road. So I guess Dale went and followed up with that. Did you follow up with them?
Yes.
Because they have moved it off the road since. I guess cooler heads prevailed, because I was not a happy man talking to that other man. Believe you and me. The other thing that's been coming up a whole bunch, astride from the my code enforcement position, is the animal control stuff. And that's become a hot button topic in town. With the cat traps that people are requesting still of me, and over the radio, the police stuff. We get a lot of calls in this area for dogs running at large, and dog issues amongst neighbors, these types of things. Last month I wrote 4 North Carolina state citations to people, and I gave 2 general warnings to people in lieu of trying to save them some money. But the other guys, that they were like on 2nd and 3rd offenses, so I had to write them. But I don't know what's gonna go on with that. Do we have any ideas about dog catcher stuff? Because at the sheriff's office, we're just not equipped to handle dog catcher stuff.
Yeah, we got to put it on the agenda to discuss it. We have approached someone to handle it for us,
Right,
but we gotta lay down.
work it out.
Yeah, it's about like when you started, we
Right.
kind of had to feel our way through it.
Yeah, sometimes I step into things I shouldn't step into, I guess, but those people were requesting cat traps, and I thought, well, that'll be an easy thing. And it turned into a very complicated thing.
Yes.
And I stepped on the town's toes, and I stepped on the county's toes, all by just throwing down a cat trap in somebody's yard. Fantastic. And then they called me several times, more like 12, about cat traps. And it was getting time consuming, to say the least.
Is that something that someone needs to be certified in, or have a, to hire, say we would hire someone to do this job?
The dog
Do they need to have some type of training or certification?
The
at all?
the dog catchers in our county are not law enforcement officers, but they carry badges, but they don't carry weapons. They used to a while back. They're not sworn officers of the law, so there's no police powers that they can hold. They're basically there to do animal control. And I don't know if there's a training regimen involved with that.
That would be my question for the board and the clerk to research to find out.
Yeah.
We do have, old boy down the road that, his name escapes me now, did mosquito control and whatnot.
Richard Bright.
Right, Richard. And then, also our lawn care maintenance, we could possibly entertain that idea and maybe save some money, but like I said, I didn't know if you needed to be certified or.
And I'm not sure.
There is a
and I'm not sure
protocol.
either. And that's what makes the sheriff's department very ill-equipped to handle this situation.
But I'm sure either way we go, that the town would need to have some type of protocol and say, this is exactly how you do it,
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's something we probably need to work on within now and the next month, for sure.
Because there's little idiosyncrasies with animal control. There's situations where dogs are chasing kids in neighborhoods, but the owner will fetch up the dog. Somebody still needs to go down and deal or smell let the dog out in the first place.
Right.
These little things that need to be handled. It's just becoming, I guess it's because I'm monitoring it now, and I never really have. It's not my purview at the sheriff's office.
Kinda like the dishes.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, now they think it's funny communication, so every dog call comes to me, every cat call comes to me.
Cat call comes
Yeah.
to you.
Cat call.
That's-
Bum, 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 yeah. So, anyway, I've really strayed far off why I'm up here speaking. I'm just letting you know where we're at with that situation. Apologies. Let me get back to the little code enforcement thing. 307, I requested, I put in a request with that company to have their lawn mowed. They have not done it. So I've issued them a 30-day warning on property. Their lawn is about 14 inches high, and they have a big shrubbery section in the middle that looks just horrible, and their backyard's a complete mess. So we'll be moving on to penalty phase here real shortly, and I'm just letting you know that.
But this here is their second offense
This will be their
or more.
probably like third offense. But they only
Do
gotta
we have to continuously
give the 30-day
give the
notice.
30-day notice if they constantly won't keep the yards mowed or?
I mean, typically, you're gonna have to, if they bring it back into compliance, and it's a new issue, you're gonna have to issue it.
So that's the way I've been reading into it. It's
Yeah.
like a new thing. Otherwise, I just slap him with the fine thing. But he's got about 10 days left. I did this about 2.5 weeks ago with a 30-day notice because it was 14 inches high then, and it's probably more like 2 feet now.
I would go ahead and plan on pulling the hammer, because back when I was mowing the ditches, we tried to take care of that property, and then they
And
wouldn't
you got
even pay our
called.
bill.
You got
And we had to let go of them.
You got called to do it once a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and they wanted us to take us on every 2 weeks, but then the first month came up and,
They didn't pay.
no, so it just.
But this is a new owner now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So-
corporation owns it now. They put a new roof on it and done little with that home since, so I don't know what their plans are. But it's getting overgrown, it's getting getting bad. And then of course, there's a couple properties on Pettiford Road in the same situation. The one up, 124 Pettiford Road I have listed here. This lady's just starting to clean her stuff up now. It's a situation I'll tell you about after the meeting. How about that? Okay? There's more to code enforcing with that issue than I wrote. Because, okay. 1106, 1105, Highway 58. In lieu of what the attorney just brought up and what I thought was the rule, he's got a new 30-day notice because of one little thing. I asked him to trim out those ditches, and because he's got trees growing up on either end of the ingress and egress of the parking lots, and it's gross looking. And he had the building painted. He's moved out metal. He's been doing a lot of things I've been asking him to do. It's just that one thing that he won't complete. So I gave him a 30-day notice. So hopefully he just goes ahead and cuts those things down. We'll see. I'd like to just make him get into compliance. He usually does. I don't know why he's not doing that part. Let's see here. 127 Pettiford Road. Oh, I'm sorry. That's an animal control thing. One more thing. I put this in the final notes, but Deaton Drive, 119 Deaton Drive, is a property we've already contended with last November. Nothing has been done to this property. I've posted several notices on the door because I know the man's in dire straits with money and such. But I had to give him a 30-day notice again. And his property looks like heck again. And he's got a camper on it that's just like devolving on the property, and a truck is just devolving on the property. So I have a feeling we're gonna end up back out there again with the guys and getting them into compliance on the town's dime.
Chris,
Sir,
who owns that piece of property?
I'd have to look at my notes. I know the man's name, but it's not coming on me.
Wouldn't he be the one to knock on his door? Because it's not a guy that's got the camp on it, I don't believe.
I don't think anybody's living in that house, Dan. It's
But somebody owns it, somebody's paying tax.
somebody owns it and pays taxes on it, but there was a domestic thing that happened there about 3 years ago. The man went all to pieces, and he's not taking care of that property pretty much since.
Right,
He works in a business that's local to the town. I know where it is, and he's started to refuse to answer to me. So with that said, I can't talk to him if he refuses to talk to me.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to go the other
Okay.
way. You know who I'm talking about, and yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
aware of who you're talking about,
nice fellow,
but
right. Another issue that came up this month was the golf course, getting overgrown, Mr. McNeil's property there. We don't really have an ordinance that covers the regrowth of forestation on a big, what it is now is a vacant piece of property, waiting for something to be done with it. There's really nothing in the county ordinances that involve that situation either, and I looked and I kind of come through. I tried to make some things fit, but you could, in my job, I have to make elements fit in order to make it, for lack of a better crime, even though it's not. But I just could not find anything in the county or the town ordinances that would fit a violation of our ordinances on that property.
But because there's so many others. I mean, Pinnacle's property.
There's, that's why they don't have the ordinances, I believe, because there's so many. You know, these properties, they go, they're one thing 10 years ago, then they go, and then nothing happens, and they get overgrown. Next thing you know, there's a brand new restaurant there. That's how this county kind of evolves. So I believe that's a reason why we don't have an ordinance for a situation such as this. And we all know that Mr. McNeil's plans are to develop that property into something bigger, probably when maybe somebody wins the presidency and interest rates get lower. All right. With that, I think I'll end my discussion. Do you have any questions of me, gentlemen, this evening?
No, sir, but I would think the golf course, because it is a vast amount of property,
Certainly is.
I don't see us, pushing on that issue.
I don't think we could afford to push on that issue even if there was a way.
Right, even like the farm that's on the back of, White House Fork Road, if they quit farming and you didn't look at the, watermelons or whatnot growing and you were upset that you're not gonna push on that,
No.
it's the same thing. I don't bank it as a property that should be maintained.
I just wanted to make
I
this,
wouldn't
I just wanted
link
to make this board aware because a complaint was received on it to this office via Ms. B, and I kind of tried to run with it and see if there's anything to be done. I even talked to Mr. McNeil a couple of times about it. You know how he is when you talk to him, and so anyway, with that said, any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
I have one.
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
How to address it. Well, I talked to Dale about those storage buildings that across from the church on Bryson's property. Those little storage buildings, he's moved out of the trailer park and put them across the road there.
Oh, that's, John Rice's property, yeah.
Is there something, just the old junk, the junk,
They're rotten.
what, is there something we can do about that? Or is it, I don't know.
Be honest with you, I hadn't paid attention going by there, gone by there many times and hadn't looked,
They've only been out there about a week.
yeah.
The people in my church is already complaining about it.
Yeah, they've been
I
out
was
there
just
about a
so
week.
tickled that he finally moved the bus.
Yeah, me
to
too.
the RV.
Right.
You know,
But anyway,
Because, I never seem to deal with him directly until he's one of his cadres that are there. And you never know what you're gonna get when you deal with those people. Last time I got a big lecture on the First Amendment. And I was ready to teach him about the Second Amendment.
well, and the thing, when I talked to him about it, and he kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I said, all right, I can prove it to you. So I looked it up in the ordinance, the nuisance ordinance, took him a snapshot, sent it to him. And I said, and I'm just beginning. You know. So, then he did reply and said, yes, sir, I'll have it moved, so.
Boy, you handled it better than I did, Mr. Green.
And about the time they moved the bus, that's when they put the storage buildings out there,
Yeah.
like the next day. Yeah.
So do I need to look into them storage buildings?
We'll see how long, I don't know if he's gonna rebuild them, if he's gonna break them down and haul them away as trash.
Should we deal with it next month?
Just keep an eye on it.
Let's take a look at it and see.
What we're dealing
Cause they
with?
put them
Yeah,
right
and
beside
then
the road.
I'll check the ordinance book to see if there's anything that we can do.
I mean, don't they have to be tied down now and everything else?
Not
Shit.
necessarily.
Okay.
I
If
mean,
it's bigger
because
than-
see, I know he's trying to clean that place up,
I know, yeah.
even though it's taking him forever, but
Yeah. Yeah, snail space.
That needs a
Yeah.
match is what all that needs.
the whole place does, but.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next, West Car Fire and EMS. Chief Peniel?
Good evening. So for the month of August, we had 188 calls. That's a 12.6% increase from 2023. No major calls other than one down in Croatan. We had a ATV or a UTV that rolled over, caught fire, and burned a guy bad. Wasn't supposed to be in there, but nevertheless, he was.
Was the UTV, owned by the individual or was it rented?
No, it wasn't by him.
Okay.
What was that?
I know there's a lot of,
I know where you're getting at with it.
yeah, just asking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
rentals.
first thing I thought too.
The rentals.
The Rice Crown Road.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So we were 9% above where we were last year. Pelletier accounted for 31 of the 188 calls we had. They had 19 EMS, we had 1 MVC, and 11 others. For fire inspections, we had 2 for Pelletier this month. We totaled out 23 for the district. We installed 54 smoke detectors throughout the district. We've had 1 plan review. We made contact with 26 children this year, or this month, excuse me. 1 complaint or concern as far as code enforcement on the fire side. Bob could elaborate more when he gets back. He had, something he had to go to this evening. And that's about it. It was, an uneventful Labor Day, which is what we like, which is pretty typical. Our holidays, right before and after is always worse. People coming and going. So, any questions?
The ambulance that we've ordered 2 years ago,
Yes.
is it still
So it's
2 years out?
So it's scheduled next, originally we were told May of next year, and they pushed it back until about October.
Put it back to when?
See, it's taken about 4 to 4.5 years to get ambulances now.
Yeah,
So-
fire trucks and ambulances are, that's about the time frame. If you order one now, it'll be 4 or 5 years before you get it.
So that's why the fire department's had to plan so far in advance. This was on the fire department's agenda or budget 2 years ago, and we got to keep moving that money each year because it takes so long to get it.
Yes. Everything takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months to years to get turnout gear, still 6 to 12 months. Wow. So it's,
Just to get to work. Stupid question. Why is it?
The chips.
Manufacturers and companies or what?
So it's the manufacturers, the companies, most fire trucks and ambulance builders now, they build custom apparatus. They don't just roll them off the line anymore like a Chevrolet or a Ford, have a whole lot full of them. Because one department will want one thing, one department is made to order, so to speak. And they're built from the ground up. So everything's kind of spec ordered. And fire trucks are the same way. You might have a couple, what they call demo units. And if those were to meet the need of the district, then you can get them a whole lot faster. But a lot of times they don't meet the need of what you're trying to replace. So it's turnout gear is the same way. Federal law or federal regulations, several years ago changed where our protective gear only has a lifetime of 10 years. So whether it's brand new into plastic or been worn for 10 years, it's out of date, it can't be sold anymore. So before, on our protective gear, we could order a small, a medium, a large, an extra large to meet the firefighter. Now the companies don't even keep them on the shelf anymore, because if they've got a whole warehouse full of turnout gear and it sits there for 10 years, they're out the money,
They're lost.
they can't sell it. So even our protective gear is spec order now, which is put a damper on being able to keep things in stock and get it quick. So it's a pain in the butt.
Recommendation.
Chief, I know they've had a time with these ambulances, but how are the fire trucks in the district?
So we've got one coming up to begin speccing. I want to say it is in the, I think it's in the 25-26 budget, I believe. So we'll probably start the spec process soon, start
Okay.
getting some updated.
I was just wondering, when you said it took 4 to 5 years to get one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because y'all run them. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, we don't slow down.
How about the tanker? The problem child.
Oh, so
Is that the old 2,000 gallon tank?
it's the 2,500 gallon tanker we inherited from Stella when we merged with them. Earlier this year, the transmission control module went out, so it wouldn't shift gears. And we took it down to Matt and we got a new control module put on it. What they didn't do was program it where the pump would engage. So we can dump water with it, we just can't pump water with it.
oh my.
And it was at no fault of anybody's understanding. Come to find out, they've had a lot of problems with these year model trucks. And the way they were ordered, they were coming from a dealership program. And then they'd go to the builder would put the body on and send them out. And when transmission control module would go bad, that specification wasn't put back in, so it won't pump. So we're in the process of trying to figure out either bypassing the transmission control module and installing a switch, or getting a sister truck to it. Trenton's got one. We're trying to work with them to see if we can get it lined up to get both our truck and their truck to New Bern and see if we can clone the programming across from one computer to the other.
Wow.
It's a
Okay.
nickel holding up a dollar.
I brought
Wow.
all that up because, so y'all know the difficulties our new chief has.
Wow.
And having been a diesel and Allison automatic transmission mechanic before I joined the fire service, it's something that we probably should have caught, but one would have not thought that. When you ask for the programming, it's generally like programming any of your vehicles. You go by the VIN number on the vehicle and it should program it back. That's not the case.
Wow.
So it's been a little bit of a headache.
I bet.
A
Just say
simple
leave.
toggle switch.
So we're communicating with the mechanic that we use, our road mechanic that comes down, and we're trying to narrow down if we can for sure put a switch on it and bypass that transmission control module to activate the PTO for the pump. If we can, it's a matter of just running a hot in the ground wire to a switch and bypassing it. If we can't, then it's, hopefully we can get a mirror.
But it will dump water out the back.
It will dump water out the back. We dumped it up there we dumped it 5 times up there in Newport a few weeks ago when the church burned.
So it's not completely useless.
No, it's a 50-50 truck. It'll dump water, it just won't pump water. So we can carry it and put it on scene in a dump tank, we just can't pump it to a truck.
And the state will accept the dump tanker.
Tankers are not required to have pumps on
Okay.
them. If they are, they're great. If not, they're not required to for the ISO rating, which is a blessing.
Michael, could another pump be put on there?
It could. The pump
And
isn't,
would that bypass-
well, it's not, the pump is fine. It's
It's the computer.
It's the computer. It's literally what sends a signal voltage or voltage to a relay that turns on the PTO, which turns on the pump.
Okay.
And right now, it's electronically controlled through the transmission.
Good luck to you.
It won't be the first time I've had to bypass something like that on the transmission, so.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anybody have any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, Chief. All right, next is financial report.
Oh, yeah, okay, we got, $241,184 for the general fund. And we got, let's see, $17,549.71 in the account.
All right, anybody got any questions on the finance? All right, let's move to the planning report.
Planning report, we excused 2 members from being absent. We discussed with Carlton our subdivision ordinances and changes and developments that we have proposed, and all has been presented to him, and he will clean it up and get it back to us for possible vote. Storage unit ordinance that I presented has been passed to Carlton, and he's gonna review and take care of that. And I would like to say we're missing a member on the board. And if anyone has any suggestions, anyone that's interested, we need to fill that position in order to do business. And basically, that's what I have.
All right, thanks, sir. Commissioners report. Commissioner Quinn, Commissioner Bragg.
We had one request for a little, overgrown ditch or whatnot, but, sort of stumbled a little bit trying to figure out if it was, a drainage easement or not, but, in the meantime, the neighbor had taken care of the issue, and I guess now it's done. Other than that, the roads look good, noticed the crew had done edges last week. I did tell them they may need to mow the town hall one more time in November out of contract due to the, our election and whatnot, if that's okay.
Yes, it is with me. It's all right with y'all? Okay. And Mr. Bragg, I want to publicly apologize to you because that drainage issue I dropped the ball on it, and yeah, I'm sorry I let you down on that.
That's all right. I'm glad you brought it up, or,
Well,
admitted to it, and I didn't have to go that route, but yeah, we'll get them next time.
but it was definitely my fault, so,
Thank you, sir.
okay.
No,
Mr.
sir,
Mason,
I'm good.
Oh, thank you.
Walter?
Glad to be back. It's been a rough 2 months with this old man, but I'm back, and I guess I'm about 80%, maybe I'll get up to 100% sometime by the first of the year, but I am back, and I appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers on this. And I thought about the animal control thing. Do we need to talk about that now, or do we need to talk about it later, or what?
Well, we all need to research what we're going to expect out of an animal control officer. And we might even have to have some legal advice on what we can allow the guy to do, This was kind of thrown on us by the county. The county will no longer do our animal control, even though they're gonna tax us for it. So, yeah, you figured that one out. So anyhow, so we gotta come up with something, so we can get these folks off of Lieutenant Jensen's back.
We did adopt the animal control, it's the same one that the county has.
Yes, yes, we did.
I do think though, to hire or employ someone to take that over, you would need kind of like a, you know, a rule book or a playbook, a protocol of some sort to say, and the cat trap thing is easy. You know, you do this, you do this, you do this. You know, a dog catcher or confronting an animal or a larger animal, that's where things will get more technical, and that's where, you know, some people that you may hire would be like, hey, I'm not going that route. So that's where it's gonna get a little sticky, is how far do you push it, and, you know, kind of like an employee handbook, you need to have it written out, and then approach someone and say, hey, we'd like you to do this for this amount of money, or this amount of traps, or per trap, or per something. But, you know, you'd have to have it all planned out and written out to have the understanding between the board and whoever you're hiring.
So are you familiar with how to do that?
Sir?
I said, are you familiar about what they need to do or what has to be done?
No, I handle things a whole lot different, and it would not be acceptable by the board.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. I couldn't be a dog catcher.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that
I
issue.
understand.
Well, most of the board would go your route, even though we might not want to admit it.
We won't go any further on that conversation, but you do need to have a protocol of, hey, when the call is this, you do this, and this is how you handle it. And, you know, you have to call the county, you have to take this animal there, reset the trap, that sort of thing. But for what you're paying someone, depending on what they're doing, they're not super real dog catcher. They don't have a truck. They don't have the ways and means to capture a full-grown German Shepherd. So, you know, that's where we'd have to have the protocol set out to where, you know, what you can and cannot do, and then we could approach someone to hire them. But until we have that line item thing, it's going to be kind of hard to hire someone on, you know, myths and legends instead of written paperwork and a protocol of how to handle it.
My question, and I know you just answered it, yes, but how do we go about getting this, the protocols or job descriptions or something? Where do we get that from? Can we, will the county charge us to tell us what their requirements are for their dog catchers or their animal control officers?
I might be able to get them.
Huh?
He has, yeah, I'm sure he can help us with a little bit of information as
Can
far
you find out what
as,
their requirements are,
I think
what
I
they
can
do,
find
and
you know,
something like that? Did they give us something to go by?
I think they give one of their handbooks.
That would help a lot, I think.
yeah, if we stock the material
I'll
here
try to
and
find
then, yeah.
Could Carlton not write a set of rules for dog catching?
And he's not a dog catcher.
I know he's not a dog catcher, and he's not a cat catcher either. But could he write a set of rules, or if it's running loose, just call it?
Well, he would have to do just,
County,
yeah,
has county rules, right?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
we-
so if you
We've
can
already
find the
adopted those.
counties,
By reference.
yeah, it would be nice to see how the county protocols their animal catcher.
They can provide it for us. It's-
Right.
we want to do that.
There's it, there you
Okay.
go.
all right.
Well, you got that right
There's
too.
the info we need.
Take care of the bad chance.
That way they're not saying he's back. All right, anything else? All
I'm fine with that.
right, I wanted to bring up, our November meeting. We're gonna have a problem, in November, cause the 4th is the election, the 11th is Veterans Day. So, and the board would have to vote on this, but, I would like for us to move our November meeting to October the 28th.
Sounds reasonable.
So it'll be the last Monday of the month, right?
Yeah, last Monday in October.
That'll be November's meeting.
Yes.
All right, you need a motion to do it?
Sounds good to me. I'll be out of town that week.
Yes, we would need a motion.
I make a motion, we move it to October the 28th.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second to move our November meeting to October the 28th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we need to notify the paper on that our meeting's gonna be changed. Okay? That was new business. All right, next is public comments. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, I'm Kelly Mitchell. I live in Pelletier Shores. My husband is a native of Swansboro, and I am originally from Garner, North Carolina. But I'm here to talk about animal control and the issue that we have in this town, evidently, which I came across in an unfortunate way. So on June 29th, my direct neighbor to the left, I was about to keep their little dog. They were headed out of town. I went over there to get the directions on how to care for the little dog, and the female homeowner was the one that invited me and my 5-year-old daughter into the house. The 2 big dogs that were going to be kept by someone else while they were gone were out of their crates, and upon entering the house, I was immediately charged by the German Wirehair Pointer. And I scooped my daughter up and shoved her up against the wall, and the dog chomped my hand, and I had to get 4 stitches and be on an antibiotic in the beginning of the summer, and was not allowed to get my hand wet and all that, but thankfully it was not my daughter. So about a month later, female homeowner was outside. We were all preparing for Tropical Storm Debbie. My son was outside. He was grabbing something from his fishing bucket from the sidewalk because, we were trying to get everything in. And he comes running inside and he said, "Mommy, Amy's out." And that was the dog that bit me. Amy's out. And she ran up to me. And so the dog was off leash, charged at him. He ran inside. And I went outside, and I was absolutely livid with this neighbor. And so I let her know how I was feeling, and as I was letting her know, the dog charged at me. She was throwing the tennis ball with this dog that has knowingly bit someone in the front yard of a subdivision like Pelletier Shores. So I ran inside because the dog was coming up to me, and I called her husband. And then I called the police, then I called animal control. And they said, "We don't serve Pelletier. You need to call the sheriff's department or the police department." I'm sorry if I'm getting that part wrong, but I called law enforcement. And they said that basically we don't have the support of Carter County Animal Control. And by the time I got all of that sorted out, the woman had the dog in the house. And so I did file a police report, and then I called Pelletier Town Hall the next day. But y'all were open because of Debbie. But anyway, so I am, normally a very calm and reasonable person, and we forgave the first episode where the dog bit me because I did step inside that dog's home, and it was not that dog's fault that it should have been in a crate. The dog owner should have had the dog in a crate. So my time is probably up, but I'm here to say that I would like to be a part of the solution, and I don't really understand how a town like Cedar Point can have the support of Carteret County Carteret County Animal Control, and the town of Pelletier does not. And frankly, old man down the road, Mr. Bragg, and long-haired maintenance man ain't gonna cut it when there's a German wire-hair pointer in the neighborhood that needs to be called.
Exactly. And it's just a shot in the dark as the first thing we could even.
No,
research.
I understand, but why in the world, we are in Carteret County, who do I need to speak with up there to get the support of what should be an entity that already supports us?
Yeah. Well,
That's a good question.
This was something that the county kind of threw on us and all of the towns. So.
They said that they are in contract with Cedar Point. I mean, I don't understand the funding and all that, and I'm very well aware that I don't have all of those details. But, again, if I need to go wherever I need to go, because, I will shoot the dog. And
Absolutely.
There you go.
if it were, I think I talked to you.
Yes, you did.
And I'm well within my legal rights to do so if the dog is on the property. And now our neighbors know that that is what is going to happen. But again, we feel like we can't send them out in the front. We moved there because it's a safe neighborhood. We're on a cul-de-sac. We love we love the other neighbors mostly. And, but this is like unacceptable.
Amen.
And they have a
Yes.
fenced in backyard. But, I don't understand. So,
That's what I don't get. If they've got a fenced-in backyard, I know how small the front yards are on those yards.
they are, they're like.
Why would you put a dog in the front yard with kids?
Well, her reasoning was, poor thing, her backyard was wet. I'm sure hers was the only one wet in the entire neighborhood, I've taken too much time. But,
No,
What was your name again?
Kelly Mitchell.
Kelly, I thought before.
Yeah, you talked to me about something else, I don't remember. It was a good thing, though. So,
What's your address, Kelly?
145 High Tide Drive.
Gotcha.
What?
145 High Tide.
And the neighbor was to the left or right of your house?
So if you're looking at our house from the road, they're to the right. I can't remember the address is on the police report. I can't remember the numbers right now.
same side of the street.
Yes.
So it's probably 143.
The Cedar Point, contract in the county?
We have to call David Bragg and find out if they,
David Braxton.
Reef.
Oh,
David Reef, excuse me.
oh, David Reed. Oh, yeah, he goes to my church.
Sorry, sir.
That's okay.
Can we check on that and see what, if they are, what they're paying and what it would cost us to do if we had to contract with them?
Yeah,
Frankly, I'd rather do our own if it's possible.
Well, the only thing is like, Dave Bragg, when you start doing something like that right there, you gotta have a truck, you gotta have this and that.
Yeah, your average guy is
I
not
think
gonna
it
do
would actually be better to contract with the county itself.
For sure.
Depending on what it costs.
And that's exactly what I meant by, regular
Yeah.
trapping a cat here and there, all well and good, but going after a large dog and, protecting a child, I would not act properly. I would take care of the situation, I would protect the child, but I'm sure someone would not be happy with the outcome.
Because I'm sure that when we get ready to drop them off down at the county, Humane Society, they're probably gonna wanna try and bill us for that somehow.
Right.
So just as well get it all in one
I
line.
know, I talked to Asa about this situation, and he did fax over. He said that, informing the individual head of the health department who looks over, who's the boss of all of it,
He's the one that changed the rules.
he had told him that we did adopt that ordinance and what did we have to do, but I haven't heard anything or I don't know who to contact, but Asa did ask him, information over there that we had adopted this ordinance and what do we need to do, and I guess we haven't followed up on it or something, but I sympathize and empathize with you entirely, and I know that, I've talked to her, and we do definitely, we need to address this.
Thank you.
That could happen, things happen tonight.
It could happen,
Anytime.
and I mean, it would change our lives forever.
Oh, yeah.
And even though you're invited into that house and that dog happens, it's still their liability.
It is, and the
I would
dog should
consider
have been
it-
right, but we gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then we shouldn't have. And anyway, it's just not a good situation.
This is one of the rare times that I would like to say it's valuable to have,
I was at the townhouse.
pay a lawyer to write a letter. Because it kind of puts it out there that, hey, next time, I'm going after you, and it's not your dog, it's gonna be, half your property or whatever,
Civil suit.
a large
I may
amount of
do
something.
that.
But
Well,
I would highly advise, at least consulting a lawyer.
Lawyer down there.
Well, I think we as a town need to address this, sooner or later, whatever we need to do, I don't know what we need to do.
And it's not, and I know not many times up, but my husband is a runner, and it's not just in our neighborhood either. And so part of what I wanted to say too, and I fumbled up there, but I just hate to see you know, our law enforcement officers have a lot of their time taken up handling animal control issues when I know that there's so many other, you know, other things that they need to be tending to.
Absolutely.
They got two-legged animals.
But
Okay.
thank you for that, for letting me put that.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
ma'am.
Yes, and we gotta get to work on that. All right, Alice, you had something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, the animal control at Beaufort, because I had a pig. A pig in the yard, and it kept, and I had to fill up the holes. I mean, it destroyed my yard.
Yeah, but see, all this changed,
And,
but not even a year ago, or might have been, that they changed the rules now.
yeah, well, this is about 5 months ago. And I had to fill, and I did it back to 3 times. And they sent about 5 people up
For the pig.
and so finally,
They
they caught the pig.
want to barbecue.
They want to kill him, put him in the cooker, is what that
Well,
was.
I told them, I said, I'll shoot him.
They already had somebody making sauce.
Shoot him.
All right, is there anyone else, B?
Yeah, I have some, I feel my issue isn't as important as this, but my door has been in the kitchen for like 30 days.
Well,
Is there any way you guys can find somebody to put it up?
well, I'd like to see I know you talked to me about it, but the problem is, you just can't hire someone to come in off the street and do it. All right, they gotta be insured, because if they go up a ladder, they shoot themselves with a nail gun, and they're not insured, the town's liable. So, well, yeah, but the town, because of working on the church, you know, I kinda ended up losing over $10,000 because of what was bought up, then I wasn't able to be paid.
Can we send out bids for it, or, you know, just
They
like we
gotta
do
be,
the other thing?
the thing is, they need to be a licensed commercial contractor. This is a commercial property.
Sure, then let's
So-
send out a bid for licensed commercial contractors.
Yep, we need the door, we need the electrical work, on the exit lights, and a
Put
door,
the chairs together.
doorknob around back. That was broke off, it's,
You're saying you don't want to do it, or not, you get that.
oh, I would do it, but, you know, I'm not gonna do it for free. I've already done that
I don't see
part.
why anybody would expect you to do it for free.
Well, let's figure out a bid format and send it out for bid and make it happen. I mean, we can't sit back and do nothing.
Okay. All right, well, y'all bring that up next month, what y'all wanna do with it. Okay?
Am I doing it and add, what are we gonna do, just wait until next month?
We got it, yeah, because we're gonna have to work out,
A bid format.
yeah. Yep,
So we're not doing anything at this point? No.
okay, no. Okay. Next is old business, the shed ordinance amendment.
So we originally, I think we put it on hold because we were gonna try to get these other updates, kind of roll it all into one for one public hearing. But I'm thinking we should probably move forward, because if we're gonna have, I'm not sure how many more revisions we might have to do with the spreadsheet we went over tonight. And Ronald provided me a great starting point for the zoning ordinance update recommendations for the storage sheds, but there still might be some other details we need to iron out. So, the planning board has already provided a written comment. I believe y'all have provided written comment for both the both of the amendments on here, or both of these items. So, I don't know if the board was ever provided text of these updates. Were y'all provided that?
It should be in your bulk folder.
Yeah.
And you should have a copy of the letter, what do you call those?
The consistency
Yes,
statement?
you should
Okay.
have a copy
Yeah, we already did it.
of the consistency statements that they signed.
Yes.
Okay.
It should be in your folder.
So if y'all want to, either, I'd be happy to go back through and refresh everyone's memories on the contents of these updates. If y'all would like to, you already have the materials, we could, or the board could call for a public hearing at the next meeting, at the beginning of next month. I guess, actually, yeah, beginning of October, we're not two meetings in October, we're one meeting, the November meeting. So yeah, if y'all would like to, we could, if y'all would like a little more time, we could wait on calling for a public hearing, or if you'd like to, we could, if you have any questions right now about the shed update and the mobile home travel trailer park update, amendment site, and I can answer questions about that. But yeah, I think we should probably try to get moving forward on that, since it may take us a little while on the other, those changes.
All right, so, anybody,
I'm on board with moving forward. We've, passed this month after month. We need to get it done. We've all had the information. We all know what's going on. We all pretty much agree on it, unless anybody I haven't heard doesn't agree on it. But yeah, let's get the public hearing. Let's get it done, because there's just going to be something else that's going to come up. We're going to have
Always.
to deal with.
yep,
Yeah, I agree.
Like other problems. So yeah, let's go forward.
Okay, you all want to call for a public hearing for beginning of October?
Yes, sir.
let me get back to my spot here. All right, so we're looking at the October 7th meeting. We need, what, two public hearings?
Yeah, we can basically, we can hold one public hearing, it's however y'all like to, we can have one hearing for both items.
All right, well, one is the sheds, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the first one, the shed ordinance update, and if y'all like, I could go through this really quickly, just,
Well, we could do that October 7th.
okay, yeah.
We won't have to
Yeah,
anyway.
the first one is the shed update, and that's a couple changes to the zoning ordinance. There's changes in a few sections related to sheds. It's ultimately about residential sheds, but I ended up making some small changes in just general application for residential zoning permit, and just the general section on accessory buildings and structures, because things just need to be cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, I can go into more detail on that at the hearing, at or before the hearing. And then the second, I guess, portion of the public hearing would be the zoning ordinance update for the manufactured home park. That one's more straightforward. It's just cleaning up some language and adding the dimensional requirements, and let's see, an access requirement. No space or lot should have a direct access to an exterior road or street, and requirement for road improvements need to exceed the requirements in the DOT's subdivision road construction period.
Okay, so I needed a motion for a public hearing for mobile home recreational vehicle park and residential shed.
So,
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second to go in, to have a public hearing. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that'll be October the 7th. Okay? Now, will B need to write 2 articles for that to,
Yeah, I'll get that stuff. And we'll just need one, newspaper notice. We can combine, we'll just put both.
combine
items.
them into one? Okay. Other business done at this time? Commissioners review, Commissioner Quinn,
Don't have anything.
Commissioner Bragg.
We all need to do a little bit more research and, I'd like to look into the whole contact Cedar Point and find out, you know, how they have their deal with the county, and then next month have a number and a price or a go-ahead on this, you know, animal ordinance, the thing, dog catcher.
All right, Commissioner Mason.
Good.
Pass.
I agree with David.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Brady.
Okay, Dan?
I'm making a motion we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned.